So, in this session, we're going to talk about immobilization and splinting and plastering of the lower limb. Specifically, we're going to first concentrate on ankle injuries and how we immobilize them. As you can see here, this is a SAM splint. This is the most common way of immobilizing it. There's a bit of metal inside there, and you just literally immobilize. You put this on. Okay. Now, if you've got a patient with a deformed ankle and you want to take them straight to theatre, you just add one of these on and you put a bit of crepe around it, keep the leg elevated, and they can go straight to theatre. Which is the same philosophy behind putting a single slab behind the leg. This offers no lateral support to the malleoli. So particularly if there is a malleolar injury and we're sending the patient home to be reviewed in clinic later, this is insufficient, be it made of SAM splint or of plaster. You need to have lateral support. So we're going to measure. Now, for a below knee backslab, we always start laterally. Now, we're going to feel the head of the fibula. We always start below that. We don't want to damage the peroneal nerve. So, come around, measure across the foot, and then up, emphasis, foot up measurement. Okay. So there's two measurements. First of all, the gutter, and then we measure the length. Like that. There we go. So that's 6185. Okay. There's various ways of applying the below knee backslab. I'm going to start with the more unstable version. So for this you're going to need quite a bit of assistance. These are usually people with trimalleolar fractures, there may have been some dislocation, the foot is usually unstable, so you're going to need some help. And essentially what you need to do is you need an assistant to hold under the knee, okay, you need an assistant to hold the foot. What you find often is that if you hold the foot from the first two toes, the weight will actually stabilize the ankle. Okay, so your assistant over here is just supporting over this side. You want the knee slightly bent and the foot straight like that. So with the foot in this position, what we then do is we start with our wool, go around again, 2 layers, not too tight, gently down. Try not to create too many creases in the wool. Remember, the pretibial skin is quite unforgiving to any injury. Supported. There we go. So we've got 2 strips of plaster. One is the stirrups and the other is the slab. So I tend to put the stirrups in first. Now, this is usually quite messy, so make sure you've got either the incontinence sheets or blue pads, something to cover. I'll try not to make too much of a mess of the bed. So we just apply over there, and we bring it round. There we go. 6 on, and we're just gently molding. There. Got to make sure that there's always a gap in the front. Often people are worried that the plaster might just drop off onto the bed. It usually doesn't, and if it does, well, you just pick it up and put it back on again. Okay. Try not to put too much crepe in between. The temptation is to, at this stage, put the crepe on first and then put another set of crepe. That's not really good. Go right up. Remember that you need to see all the toes, so you're coming over. Get your assistant to hold and bring this back over like this. There we go. Just too long, you just hold. And you just gently notice in. Hands in. Okay. So then roll. Nice. Roll back over. Okay. Make sure there's no issues there. Go over. Not too tight. You want the fifth toe sitting proud and the first toe sitting proud. There we go. Just temporarily support it with the hips. So, particularly if we're moulding the plaster, it's important that the ankle is at 90 degrees. So, for bimalleolar or trimalleolar fractures, we tend to mould in this position. My right hand is now above the medial malleolus, my left hand is over the lateral malleolus. I'm compressing, whilst the foot is held against my chest, and that's giving it an angle of about 90 degrees. And I'm holding like this until the plaster sets. This is for bimalleolar or trimalleolar fractures where there is dislocation. You can't do this if there has been a distal tibial fracture. If you try and compress those, then you will displace it further. In fact, for those, what you need to then do is actually a bit of traction. So for those, what you would do is actually hold and pull in this sort of position with your hand over there, supporting the heel. These fingers holding above, so below the malleoli, and just a little bit of traction. This is for the distal tibial fractures that are complicated with intra-articular. Usually for those, you may want to go above the knee. Occasionally you go below the knee. These are usually temporary plasters in that often these will go to theatre fairly quickly. But it is important that you try and get the angle of the ankle correct. And this is what we would do for a bimalleolar or trimalleolar fracture that needs manipulation in resus. Okay. Now, the other way of putting a below-knee backslab on, for patients who aren't unstable, so these are the some of the fractured fifth metatarsals, some of the Weber A or stable Weber B fractures. Actually, if you lie the patient prone, bend the knee, bring the leg up, then you can apply your plaster on in this sort of position. So you would then put your stirrups on and the slab on, and that would be a bit more easier